All right. Well, welcome everybody to Modern Agent Blueprint. We are back today. Nikki and I have Grace on as our special guest speaker. So, Grace is licensed in 2 states. She's in Florida and in New York. And she's excited because she gets to wear a coat today because it's a little chilly down there. Not like the weather we have here.
Coldest day of the whole year, you guys. It's like 65.
65. It's like 37 here. Okay. So, um,
I moved. Okay, I'm from New York. I moved to get out of the cold, so I get it.
you get cold there too. It's really cold. So,
Yeah.
but we're super excited. So Grace, I talked to her about doing a class for us, and we were talking about lots of different options on things to talk about. And we landed on one sign, 4 deals, basically how to maximize your one listing and get a whole bunch more business. And I'm just gonna pass it over to you, Grace, and you can give your intro and jump right in.
Yeah, so I have to grab my charger right here. Hold on.
Come on, Grace. This isn't
I
your first
know. I'm like,
time.
wait a second. Why is it blinking? Don't worry. It's right here. I didn't have to go far. I'm Grace. Nice to meet you guys. I got licensed. I'm a COVID realtor. So I got licensed in 2021. I started a team in 2022. I expanded my business to a second state from New York to Florida in 2023. I have about 10 agents on my team right now in both states, mostly in New York. Um, and I built my business through Instagram. So since the first year that I got my license, I've sold 10 million directly from Instagram every single year. And then in addition to that, past clients and referrals. So it's been pretty good. And I focus a lot on social media marketing. I just think it's the quickest way to get business. It's the cheapest way to get business, and it's such a huge opportunity that a lot of agents now started to really take advantage of. When I started, it like wasn't really a thing yet, and I was getting made fun of for my videos. So I'm glad that everybody else jumped on board. Nobody's making fun of me anymore. Now they're like, "How'd you do that?" I'm like, "I'll show you." So here we are. I do have a presentation I'm going to share with you guys. Again, not the prettiest one. I'm going to do most of the talking, but hold on one second. Let me share my screen. You guys can see this and hear me, correct?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I had a listing this year. It's funny because I actually didn't sell it. I had it listed at 1.15. I got them an offer within 30 days for 1.1 in a down market, and they didn't take it. And then it expired, and they wound up listing with somebody else. They didn't sell that house for 2 years because they were stubborn. But I did flip that one listing into another hundred and like $15,000 in commissions in like 60 or 90 days after that, just from marketing that listing. So that's what I'm going to go over with you guys. What I just want to get an idea of like what you guys are doing right now to market your listings that you feel like is unique or different. Like what's been your primary source of taking a listing and getting at least a single separate client from it?
So, I mean,
Hopes and dreams.
yeah.
That always works. Manifestation is real.
I think Nikki's really good at this. I've done some like, postcards after I've sold. I'm not consistent with that though, to be completely honest. Nikki's really good about it.
I so I didn't used to do it, but a friend of mine who's in real estate's like, dude, you should be sending these postcards. I personally cannot stand snail mail. So anything that comes in the mail, I don't look at or throw out. But I started doing it because it was like $100 for, I don't know, over 100 houses. So I was like, why not? I'll just build it in. And it worked.
Yeah.
It's like worked every time for me to at least get, you know, one client afterwards. But I've also gotten clients through, just marketing it, whether it's a buyer that it didn't work out for them because they were too slow to submit an offer, that now I've turned them into a buyer of mine and I'm showing them houses, or neighbors that have saw my marketing and liked what I did for that client. So it's kind of like a combination of all the above, but I try to make sure that I am sending those postcards out. Just why not?
And I'm going to circle back to you when we get up to the postcard slide because I feel the same way. I was so against it. I just told you guys I built my business on Instagram, so I was super against spending money to actually get clients. I'm like, I'm going backwards, but I do like traditional things in a modern way to make it make sense. So I'm going to show you like even a door knocking strategy. Am I a door knocker? Absolutely not. But when I have a purpose for door knocking, that's when we really see results on it in a non-spammy way because when somebody rings my doorbell, I literally turn the lights off and hide. Like I am
Yep.
not answering my door. Okay. Everybody has a ring doorbell now. They see you and they like just pretend you're not there. They're like, who is it? They don't even come to the door anymore. But again, when you have a purpose, it totally changes the dynamic. So we'll get into that also. A little bit about me. I'm a realtor team leader and coach. Okay, so just to cover the basics really quickly, obviously, I hope that all of you guys are using professional photography at this stage. You would be surprised how many listings I see in New York where, how do I move this toolbar? Hold on. Why am I having difficulties here? All right. There we go. You would be surprised how many agents in New York I see listings, and I'm like, I cannot believe these people posted this, but New York is a market where there's a lot of discount brokers, so you get what you pay for. You know, people are taking 1%, they're not going to pay money to get for professional photography. But this was actually my first listing I ever got. So it was actually the seller was the listing agent and she worked in my office and she was like, I feel like I'm bad juju on my own house. Like I need somebody young and fresh and motivated to come in and help me sell it. And I thought she was crazy. I'm like, why would you pay me when you don't have to pay anything? You're a realtor. But this was the photo she had online. I'm like, is this bitch serious? She's been in the business for like 25 plus years and like there's trash cans. Like it just made no sense to me. So one thing about me is I have OCD. So I'm like, I need like a photo that's centered, that like is bright and all of the shit is out of the way. So she had her house on the market for 3 months. They got 815 and the deal fell through. And then as soon as I listed it, I had 20 showings in the first 2 days and it sold for 875. I didn't even change the listing price. We actually listed at 815, which is higher than where she was to begin with. But 98% of buyers, the first thing they're seeing is photos. So literally the photos alone I think had at least 50% of the reason why it resulted in 20 showings and another like 50 grand on that house. So super, super important. Something that obviously you guys also know has become more popular is video. So I'm going to show you an example of a video me and Lindsay did recently. I'm sure you guys know who she is. I think she actually did a meeting on here, 2 weeks ago? So we kind of just, people are like, how do you get inspiration for videos? It depends on the listing, right? Like evaluate the listing and who the buyer persona is for that property. And I'm going to get into that more as well. But it's always going to be a different type of video. Like I have a list of ideas on my phone that are like, okay, I watched this movie. This would make a great like recreation for a listing video. Like I just jot them all down as they pop up. And then when I find a house that matches that vision is when I'm going to implement that video. So videos are expensive. They're like $750 to $1,000 they could be, but I don't do them on every single listing. I do them on either the higher price listings, the listings that are in my ideal market that I want to create more of. I'm not going to spend it on like the $200,000 condos and co-ops that I have that like I just don't want more of. I'm doing it because it's a family friend or somebody that reached out. My average price point is like 600 to 800. So if it's below that, or if it's not going to show well, if it's not a pretty listing, maybe not do a video on that. But let me just pull this up. And just texted me. Do you think I should go out with him again?
The guy that wanted to split the bill on the first date? Ew, no.
He was so nice.
Don't we have a listing video today? Yeah, but it's right here.
It's 12:59.
We lost sound for some reason. I don't know why.
Did you say?
We lost the sound on our end. Could you guys hear the sound? In the beginning, I could.
Yeah, in the beginning, but I mean, it's just music anyway.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you get the point. So basically, this video got, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000, something like that. So I don't know if you guys send like I send an email every Monday to all of my active sellers with a breakdown of how we marketed the property that week, how many eyeballs we got on the property, how many Zillow saves it got, how many showings there were, what the feedback was, like all of the stats for each week. So they know that I'm doing my job, even if like we don't have any offers and it's super slow. Even when there's no update, I'm giving an update. So when you do a video like this, um, it's boosting. Like if you pull this up on Zillow, it probably had like 50, 500 views maybe, and like 5 saves or whatever the case is. Like that first week it was listed, right? But then when you can say that there were 20,000 plus that 500 plus StreetEasy plus Realtor.com plus Facebook plus whatever, like you're showing numbers that are like astronomical compared to other agents, right? And obviously I say this in my listing appointments. I'm like, the more views you get, the more exposure you have, the more people are walking through the door, the more people that walk through the door, the more offers you're going to get, the more offers you're going to get, the higher the price you're going to get for your home. So that's why this is so important. Obviously it had like a strong hook. People were like, okay, where is this going? Is this a real estate video? Is it just funny? Like it pulls people in, and then it really highlights not just the building that it's in and the unit itself, but also the location, right? Like we hopped in a golf cart, we went to the beach to there in literally 60 seconds. So it's highlighting again, like just the area. And that's something that's really important. That should be highlighted in your videos. You're selling a location and a lifestyle. Property descriptions, again, goes without saying that like use ChatGPT for these. Kid you not, this was a real property description that was like direct competition to mine. So this obviously had more here, but like I'm just so confused by the difference. I'm like, how does anybody take a listing and just post beautiful 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom with terrace? Like, no shit, we know that already. Like we can see that. Thank you so much. How did I move this again? What the hell? There it is. So this was on the market for 63 days with 99 views. It was up for 8 days on Zillow with 4,500. We sold this in 1 weekend. So again, in the description, same thing like I just said, just make sure you're giving ChatGPT all of the information that it needs. Like, don't just talk about how many bedrooms and bathrooms, like really paint a picture and be like, tell me who the ideal buyer is, tell me where they're relocating from. I want you to be as descriptive as possible. I want you to talk about why this is the best home for whoever that buyer is, whether it's an investor, whether it's this, like if it's an investment property, if it's a great flip, like what's the ROI, what's the projected numbers, like what's the ARV, like talk about those things in the description. I feel like that's going to help sell the house so much quicker. A lot of agents, like they just kind of slap it up there and they wait for agents to reach out to them with those questions to give those answers. The more you give up front, like that's going to be helpful, right? Like if I'm from out of state and I'm looking for an investment property over there, I don't want to have to reach out to you asking a million questions because I'm going to have to do that for 20 other listings. I'm going to go to the listing where all of the information I was looking for is already in the description. And buyers, obviously, same thing. So as I just mentioned, you really want to figure out who the ideal buyer is for this property. I know there are some people that sell things like buyer personas, so you can figure out who the ideal buyer is for your listing. I don't think you need to do that. I think you can literally go to ChatGPT, and again, like the more information you give it, the better, the outcome is going to be. So I always give a very vivid description. So I'll give you one right now that I'm looking at on my board in front of me. So I have a condo in Brooklyn listed at like 600,000, right? So it's 2 bedroom, 1 bath. I'm going to tell ChatGPT that it's located 10 minutes from this high school, 15 minutes from this college. The train is on the next block. The school district is this. Like, I'm going to give it literally as much information as possible. It's an elevator building. It's not a walk up. It has a washer and dryer in the unit, it has a terrace. Who's the ideal buyer for this property, right? Because if you're trying to market to everyone, you're marketing to nobody. Like, you have to really hone in on exactly who that target audience is. And this is what a lot of agents are missing because, again, like they're just putting it on the MLS, they're talking to everybody, and then you don't know who to market to. So, for example, if you have a ranch, right, and it's perfect for downsizers, right? Because if somebody has a two-story home, they're getting older, they don't want stairs in their house, they're looking for something like a ranch. So I'm going to market that house differently than I would if it's targeting somebody with a family of five. Where are those downsizers? Are they still reading the newspapers? Because then I'm going to run a newspaper ad. I'm going to go knock on their door. Like it's going to be a very different marketing strategy than it is for somebody who's in their 20s or 30s and young professionals and growing families. So you really just have to analyze the details of the house itself to figure out who that target audience is. How many of you guys do a coming soon campaign on your listings? Okay, so everybody or almost everybody. Are there laws in Michigan, like in New York, you can only run a coming soon campaign? They just changed it, but it was like 3 business days before it actually goes live on the market. Do you guys have any criteria?
Ours is 21 days.
Oh, wow. Ours is only a week, 7 days.
I mean, I would never do 21 days because that's way too long, but yeah.
Yeah, who's going to remember a house for 21 days and wait for
They're not.
crazy?
They're probably going to find a house in the meantime.
Yeah, 100%. So what I've found that works is like 3 days. So in New York, it had to be 3 days. So what we would do is coming soon on a Friday. You're only allowed to promote for 3 business days. But because it was a Friday, we got 2 free weekend days. So we would promote it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and then put it on the market on Wednesday. And then there's another 3-day rule that if it's on the market, when you publicly list it, you have to show it within 3 days of that. So what worked out perfectly is that if you did coming soon on a Friday, on the market on a Wednesday, first open house is the first showing. So we would direct all of the showing requests from Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to the weekend open houses we would do to that weekend. And that worked for so many different reasons because I think I'm skipping ahead in my slides here, but that it just built so much hype. It got so many more people. It got a line outside. It really drove traffic to the weekend because if you think about it, like there's just such a scarcity mindset in regards to like houses, right? Like if somebody sees nobody else wants it, they don't want the house either. If they see that there's a line around the corner, people are like, oh my God, like everybody wants this house. I have to have this house. Like it's just a mindset shift. So it drives up the traffic and the offers because if people even see a couple other people at the open house, even if it's not packed out, if it's not that market, they're still going to ask you first, like, do you have other offers? Like it's going to be a different conversation with those other agents and buyers. But during the coming soon campaign period, we put it as coming soon on the MLS, and then we do an email blast about it to our entire database. Something that we do as well, we also ask our lenders that we have partnerships with, like, hey, we are about to list this property at 600,000. Have you recently pre-approved any buyers in this price point that's looking for a single family home? And a lot of the time, like they'll be like, oh shit, I did just pre-approve somebody. They don't have an agent. So we're able to double end a lot of the transactions by going direct to the lender because they're the ones that are approving these people, right? Like a lot of the time they're getting their own business. It's not just from other realtors. So it's a big opportunity that way, to be able to double end commissions. Are you guys able to do that in your market?
I've honestly never even thought about doing that, which is crazy.
You
No,
learn
that's a good
something.
idea of sending it to lenders. Like
Yeah,
genius.
never even thought about calling them.
Yeah, so I have my email list. So you guys are gonna make fun of me, but I just have a Google sheet. Okay, I don't use a CRM. Like I have a Google sheet with all of my contacts, and then I use Flowdesk, and Flowdesk kind of acts as my CRM. But I have different tabs, so they're super categorized. So I have New York clients, I have Florida clients, I have New York agents, I have Florida agents, I have all of my agents, I have all of my digital product courses, like mentorship agents in a different category, and I have all my lenders in another category because I run super specific emails that I want to only go out to those groups, right? Like my New York agents, I have an email that goes out once a month. If you have anybody looking to relocate to South Florida, I offer a 30% commission, referral fee back. Like I'm always on a cap. So for me to give that extra 5% is no big deal. And it gets them to want to reach out to me, right? So just make sure it's categorized because you'll be able to dial in like really specific. If you're talking to, if you're something is buyer specific and it's going out in an email to like people that are thinking of selling and they're like, this is spammy because it's not relevant to me, right? Like The reason why people unsubscribe is because they feel like you're not speaking directly to them. So if you're able to categorize and have really specific, pain pointed emails that go out to each group, they're never like, I don't get really unsubscribers. Like everybody kind of just stays on my email list because they're interested in the content that I'm pushing out to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, back to coming soon campaign. So, so during the coming soon campaign, we posted on social media. I put it on my Instagram story. I don't really put it on my feed. I wait until it's listed. But I'll put it in my story. I'll say, hey, I have an opportunity coming up. It's off market. It's $1 million. It's the only, and here's something I'm going to get to, know the stats of the area of your stats of, we're going to get into that. But make sure you're doing a social media coming soon campaign and an email coming soon campaign because it's a really great way to collect buyers to, again, double end those commissions. Back to direct mail. So I do usually just listed postcards. This is from when I was at EXP, so it's a little outdated here. But make sure that you're always partnering with a lender or title or attorney on the back of these cards because it will save you 50% of the cost. Like there's no reason to ever send out a postcard by yourself without a sponsor on it. Like why are you going to spend double the money when you have somebody more than willing to split it with you? And I promise you, almost any lender, title, attorney, they want your business. They're going to give as much as they can until it's been a year and you haven't given them anything back. But the backside, I always put whoever the sponsor is for this. I always have some sort of QR code with a call to action. So this one I think was just my link tree. Again, this one's a little bit older, but what I do now with the just listed is, and Real actually just put something out where you have a specific QR code they create for you with a landing page for each specific website. So like each listing has a specific website. So it'll go to there to collect their information, yada, yada. But make sure you have something there. So whether it's a Google form, maybe a QR code that goes to a Google form where it'll say, put in your address, what's your mortgage payoff, blah, blah, blah. And you can pop back with a comp list and net sheet for them. It's automatic. They'll go right into your database. So you could do something like that. If you have Stan Store, you can easily create something with the QR code on there that you can add, but it should always have some sort of call to action with QR code because if you're just doing postcards and you're not collecting their information, you're putting the control in their hands. That's like having people walk through an open house. You give them a business card, but you don't take their information back. And then you're leaving it up to them to call you, where 90% of the time they're not calling you. They're going to wait for you to follow up to get any type of feedback or to submit an offer, give them the push that they need. So again, just make sure you're always splitting this. I have lenders. Usually I print these either on Canva or like Zazzle. There's so many different ones, whatever is the cheapest. And I split that cost with a lender. And then I also split the cost of mailing it out. I use EDDM on USPS. You could also do it through, I don't know if your MLS has like Remind, you could do it through there. And if you do it through Remind, you can actually filter through. They rate every homeowner who has the highest probability of wanting to move, right? Because people on average stay in a home for 7 to 11 years. So you can sort it by that. You could sort it by high equity homeowners. So not only are you sending to an entire zip code, but you can also narrow down within that zip code to save you money and make sure it's going to the right people that actually have a high interest in possibly selling in the near future or buying in the near future, to again, just make sure that your target audience is more filtered and specific. So it's better to send less mailers to targeted buyers because you also want to have a 7-touch campaign. I mean, every traditional brokerage teaches like nobody's going to call you from one mailer, but if you do it 7 times, now you've built the trust and the name and brand recognition for them to actually reach out to you. I was just with Lindsay this morning and she was like, I have this listing. I bought just listed mailers. She goes, and we just went under contract, so I didn't even have a chance to send them out. So what I do in a situation like that, because she was like, should I just do it twice? Should I do just listed and then do under contract? I'm like, what I do on those is I actually put a sticker. Like I make a sticker that says, before I even mailed these out, we were under contract, 3 offers in 3 days, 50 showings or whatever it is. Because now you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You're showing like, hey, I was about to market that property this way for my seller, but before I was even able to do that, like we flew off the market. And put the stats like Average houses in this community take 80 days to go in escrow, and we were able to do it in 3 or whatever the numbers are, right? Because when they see the sticker on it, they're gonna be like, wait a second, like she really did that shit. You know, like she was really gonna mail these out and didn't even get to it. So if you do something like that, it shows people like the how quickly things are flying off the market. That's a huge call to action right there. So if you're able to do something like that, definitely do that. And make sure too that like your branding is all the same. So my open house signs were black, hot pink, and white. So I kept that consistent with the coloring that were on the mailers. I keep it consistent with like if I'm running ads or whatever the case is, like whatever your branding is. I have an agent on my team that has this red blazer headshot photo, and I'm like, can you change this? I feel like you've had this for like 10 years. And she's like, no, people compliment me all the time because they're like, we love how consistent this is and how it's always there. And then she always has the red flags and like everything just matches. But again, like people will associate your headshot photo with your branding color. And if it's something that stands out, or if you have a slogan that stands out, whatever your branding is, just make sure it's super consistent throughout everything. Like every time I change my Instagram photo, I also change it on TikTok. I also change it on Facebook. I also change it on my mailers. I also put it on my signs, which gets really expensive if you're doing like 4 branding shoots a year, but you know, one's always better than the last. So sometimes you just have to shell out the extra money. I'm not even gonna get this is like super basic. But one thing that I will point out from here is TikTok. It's so funny because on Instagram is like, it's more of an aesthetic platform. So people want to see you more buttoned up. They want to see like something that looks nicer. TikTok is the opposite. They want to see you messy and like getting in the camera, like with messy bun, no makeup, shooting the shit with them. Like I would do that all the time on TikTok. I got 14,000 followers on there before I even had a following on Instagram. Like I actually started on that platform. I posted a casual walkthrough of an apartment. It was $1,500. This apartment in Queens. I go like this. I post it. It got literally 17,000 views, and like it's been like 2 years. I'm still getting people that are like, "Hey, do you have a similar apartment that's available?" Like a ton of tenants, and I don't even work with them. I just like pass them off to the team. But if you're doing something casual, if you're in an open house, if the open house is dead, if you're touring something for a client, if it's your listing and you're there for the photography appointment, even if you're not shelling out the money for professional videography on that listing, just take a video walkthrough on your phone, because I post that to YouTube Shorts that get you more subscribers for your YouTube channel, which I need to pay more attention to this year. Post it to TikTok, post it to your Instagram story, post it to all of those little short platforms where like it doesn't have to be super dolled up, but it will get you the traction that you need. So just don't forget about those other channels. Also, if you're making the content once, what's the big deal to just save it and post it somewhere else the second time, the third time? I just did a video this morning and I was like, should I delete this? Like I've never posted something with no makeup on and no filter. And I was like super self-conscious about it. But then like people liked it. So I'm like, you know what? I don't have time to like get all dolled up and do this again. But it performed really well on TikTok too. Like a bunch of people are going off in the comments. Like it just sparked up conversation. So if there's like current events, make sure you're also posting that to educate those people. So when you're posting, I'm totally sidetracking here. I have a little ADHD if you didn't notice. But my point is like when you're posting listings to get clients and promoting your listings, your sales, your transaction count, whatever, that's all great. But the conversion on your social media happens when you're educating and you're providing value and you're teaching them something new. So don't forget to also throw in the current events and buyer tips and this and that. Okay, how you can use lead magnets for your listings. Who here uses some sort of lead magnet?
Sometimes.
Okay, do we know what lead magnets are and where to get them and how to use it?
Why don't you just explain?
I'm gonna go through it. I'm gonna show you like a brief overview. Can you hear
Hey
this?
guys, it's 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏. Today I'm not just showing you any house, I'm showing you my house. Welcome to my crib. This is where I make my breakfast, lunch, and
Okay, we don't have to watch that. It's super cringy going back to it, but I was selling my own house. I made this video and then I put a lead magnet. So I'm like, okay, what can I put here that's going to attract, like, I want to collect email addresses of people that might be interested in this, right? So I wrote comment cribs to download my guide. So this right here is called a trigger word. When they comment this word, they're going to get a, did anybody comment on this one? Hold on. I just need one. Here it is, cribs. Okay, view one reply. This was an auto DM through StanStore that said check your DMs, and then it automatically DM'd her a lead magnet, which is basically just a free guide, but in order to download it, you just have to enter your email address. So this is what's going to come up. So she's going to click on the link. It's going to say get my guide and then free download. So once she enters her email address and clicks that, I don't know why it's taking so long. Okay, so I could download it here now, and then I get an email as the person that created the lead magnet. I get an email saying you have a new lead, right? And then it all gets categorized in StanStore under the trigger word that I use. It'll say cribs and it'll say 15 leads next to it. And then I can click on that and see all 15 email addresses of people that requested this guide. So I didn't want to just do something on the house because they can obviously go to Zillow and just get that information. So I did more of like a lifestyle thing. So a perfect blend of comfort, convenience, and community, blah, blah, blah. So why people are moving to this area in Palm Beach. So it's family friendly, affordable homes, top rated schools nearby, gorgeous parks, shopping, 25 minutes to the beach, 15 minutes to the airport. The location, so like just landmarks that are close by. So what mall, what turnpike, what airport, what parks, what water parks, some of my local favorite restaurants. So all of these, like literally my favorite, like everybody in the area like knows these as the best places to go. Beaches in nearby cities. Like I show a map of where everything is in proximity to this area because it's a little bit of like a smaller area, a little bit west. I'm like, okay, it's just 25 minutes this way. Like if it's one of those like smaller cities, you really want to promote like what's around it. And then I got into the property. So first I spoke about lifestyle, community, and then I got into the property itself and some, just selling points of it. About the community itself, it's in a gated community, 2 pools, 2 playgrounds, all ages, pet friendly, rentals are allowed, super low HOA of only $200 a month to get all of this. So that was a huge selling point. Why this home is a smart choice. You can walk across the street to a water park. It's gated with low and lenient HOA, easy commute to school, shopping, airport, and beaches, excellent value in a growing area, perfect for families, first-time buyers, or seasonal residents. Let's make it yours, right? So then I have the Zillow link. I don't know if that's still gonna work. Oh, there it is. Okay, so it went to the Zillow link with the photos. Those are not my photos. By the way, I would never. I would never. Are you kidding with this couch? Like, what listing agent looks at this picture and is like, I'm gonna post that? That's crazy. Anyway, back to my slides that I lost. There they are. So a lead magnet, again, is just a free guide or piece of value I created on Canva. I put it on my StanStore, and then I just attach a trigger word to it. It's super easy to set up. I know it sounds a little bit complicated if you haven't used it before, but it's a great way to collect the information because, again, like people that are just looking at it, Zillow views are just eyeballs. People that are viewing your reel are just eyeballs. These 9,000 people don't mean shit if I don't have their contact information to follow up with them afterwards. Again, back to the analogy to open houses. Like if I'm not getting your information, there's no point in you walking through the door. Oops, I clicked on it again. Sorry. So definitely implement this. Also, this is not a social media training, so I'm not going to get into it, but my highest viewed reel on Instagram got me like, I don't know, like 6,000 followers. It got 24 million views on it. And I didn't get a single lead from it because I didn't have a lead magnet set up yet. I didn't even know what that was yet. Once I learned how to do that and collect leads from my Instagram, my business like literally tripled in 1 year because of that. So that's a whole meeting for another day, but I would highly recommend using lead magnets in your social media post. Otherwise, when you go viral, again, you're just not capturing their information. And one of my biggest fears is that I wake up tomorrow and Instagram is like gone forever. Somebody hacked my page or I can't get in it again. So all of those 40,000 followers like don't mean anything if I haven't taken that contact information elsewhere and saved it to like a database or something. So you want to, emails is the goal,
Hey,
which
great.
means, yeah,
Look real quick at the comment. So Carrie just said, how do you set up landing page for the lead magnet? You just did it in Canva, correct?
I did it in StanStore. So I'm going to show you. Yeah, I created the actual PDF guide in Canva. I downloaded it as a PDF and then I have my StanStore in here. So basically from the back end, it's going to look similar to this. So one of my lead magnets that I used all the time, I grew my page on things like these. This does really, really well. Like in January, the beginning of the year, I posted something similar again, and it like really got like almost 10 million views on that one too. But this time that I did it, I had a lead magnet. So I post a lot of home buyer tips. So the lead magnet that I started attaching to those are this here, the home buying blueprint. So this is a lead magnet that I use often. And I'll show you, like, this is just, you literally go to StanStore, you attach the PDF guide, and it's super, super easy. This one is basically like if you're getting ready to buy your first house in the next 12 months, this is your blueprint on how to do that. So renting versus owning, some numbers on it, your road to home ownership, like what you should do, assess your financial situation, boost your credit score, save for a down payment, blah, blah, blah. Your debt to income ratio, why that's so important and what that means, check your credit score, how to boost your credit score, like a couple credit tips to save for a down payment, understanding your mortgage options, starting exploring the market, find a realtor, and then a little bit about me. So this is just another example. I have so many of these guides that I just kind of keep in my back pocket for when I have a piece of content that's relevant to it, and then I'll use a trigger word and push that out. So if anybody wants any templates, just let me know too.
I was about to say, I'm gonna have you send that one when we're done with this call, please.
Yeah, I like that one. I think that has a lot of good info.
Do you have a trigger word that we could type in?
I use blueprint. Oh, so here's something to keep in mind. I really fucked this up with when I started doing some relocation posts, my trigger word was Florida. That comes up so often in DM conversations, the word Florida, that in mid conversations with a million people, my lead magnet would go out, hey, download my free guide, download my free guide. I'm like, no, sorry, that was automatic. So you want to use a word that you're not commonly using in everyday conversation, like blueprint. I don't really say that often, so it doesn't automatically go off in random conversations. So use something that, like, don't use home buyer, don't use buyer, like it's going to come up way too often. Try to find a trigger word that is something that's just not commonly used. So you could do, I don't even know what else you could do right now for these, but build equity, do something like super specific almost with your trigger words. But I can even show you on the back end like how this would work. It's just like a longer meeting. I don't want to keep you guys here all day, but I can definitely
Yes,
show
we
you
have to have you back, Grace.
I'll come back anytime. Call me. Email marketing. So again, like all of the leads that I had from any lead magnets, I'm going to do an email for, like I said, any lenders in my database to see if they've recently pre-approved somebody, previous clients, qualified leads. Something that I do as well, just a little tip, is when I get a listing. So I'm going to show you real quick my Zillow page. Hold on. Let's say this listing, for example, this was the one I was referring to before. What I'm going to do, even on Zillow, right? I'm just going to look up Brooklyn listings like this zip code from the price point of, let's say, 550 to 700,000 for condos. And I'm going to take all of those email addresses. My VA does this. They take all the email addresses for all of the listing agents that have similar listings within that price range in the same zip code, and I add them to my email list. Because what I like to do with this, if if it's a condo building, for example, and there's 2 other listings, I'm going to reach out to those agents, introduce myself, coordinate an open house with them because I believe in like collaboration over competition. If I have a buyer that doesn't love the listing that I have, but they might like theirs, like let's work together, you know, like let's co-broke on these, like let's figure out how we can sell all of our listings quicker. And if we're hosting 3 open houses at the same time, so we're getting 3 times the amount of exposure, especially if it's like a slower listing, a dead listing, it's a way to pick speed back up by collaborating with other agents. And then also, like I mentioned, if I'm searching for between like 400, 700,000, mine's right in the middle of that. And these listing agents have similar listings. They most likely have buyers that came into their open houses that they're working with, that they're representing, or whatever the case is. And a lot of these agents kind of throw their buyers to the side from open houses. Like they're so focused on listings that you literally have to put it right in front of them for them to be like, oh, wait, I do have a buyer from that. They came in last week. Maybe they'll like this one. So it kind of even pushes them to do their job more on the buyer side because, again, like listing agents a lot of the time don't focus on buyers with the same amount of time and energy. So it's a good way to get more exposure to, again, more targeted people and agents. So I always do that for all my listings. I have my VA make a list and I add them to my database and I push it out to them as well. What are we up to? Door knocking. Okay. So what I do here, again, like I'm not a door knocker, but if I have a new listing coming on the market, I will door knock to all the neighbors with a flyer that says, or it can even be like, if it's like a luxury listing, I'll do a luxury looking invitation, like almost a wedding looking invitation, and I'll leave it there. If they don't answer, I'll hand it to them personally. And I'll say, hey, I'm inviting you to an exclusive first look, like a neighbor preview of this property that I'm listing on your block or around the corner. Would love for you to come in. So our open house, let's say, is from 1 to 3. So from 12 to 1, I'll do an exclusive first look for all of the neighbors. Because let's be real, nosy neighbors make up like half of our open house views most of the time. Like you want to see how other people decorated. You want to see what their house looks like in comparison to yours. You want to see the comps. Like people just love houses. They just are nosy. They just want to see. So if they get cordially invited to a sneak peek, like they're going to take it, you know? And then also, you would be pleasantly surprised by the amount of neighbors that ask you to do comps on their house after seeing this one. Because once they see, you know, don't put the price on the invitation, just say we're listing your neighbor's house, put like an exterior shot, don't put interior, like you want to sneak peek it. You want to just really build the hype around it and get them to want to come in. And you'll be surprised how many sellers come in and they're like, can you run comps on my property? Because once they come in and they're like, how much is this? And you say $1 million, they're like, wait a second, my house is worth $1 million. Like, again, people are so busy in their lives and this, they're not checking their value of their house every day. You know, if you tell them about it is when they're gonna really, you know, start thinking long term. Like, do I want to stay here? If I could cash out and I'm sitting on $1 million, what could I do with that? I can upgrade, I can downgrade, I can buy an investment property, I could get a condo in Florida. Like, I can do all these things. So you're building like your future faking for them just by inviting them to an exclusive first look. So that's something that works every time for our listings, and I highly recommend doing. I know we're running out of time, so real quick, I'll show you this.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I kid you not, this was an open house I went to in Queens. I'm like, those balloons are like 3 days old. Like, that's all they had. They didn't have a single other sign outside. All they had were these 2, like, it looked like a birthday party. I'm like, what is this? So anyway, mega open houses. This house was over $1 million. It was down the block from a really good school and a playground. So I'm like, it had 5 bedrooms. I'm like, okay, somebody with kids is buying this house. How can I do an open house that's going to attract families and people with children? So we had a bounce house outside. We had charcuterie inside for the adults. We had interior designers doing virtual staging for the rooms, 3D floor plans on the spot. We had a lender there doing pre-approvals. We had face painting. We got as many people in the door as possible, and we did get an offer from this open house, and it also showed the sellers they were developers. Open house only cost like $250 or something at the end of the day, because the lender that was there sponsored the bounce house and the food. The face painting, we had somebody we knew doing it. So it looked super extravagant, and yet it like barely was any money out of pocket to do something like this. So again, partnering with lenders, attorneys, like get them to pay for half of your shit all of the time. All the time. No matter what you're doing, if it's costing you money, get them involved. There's only like 3 slides left. We'll make them quick. Referral incentives. So I have a Facebook group with all of my past clients, all of my team's past clients, and it's called Modern Approach Community. So we have a referral system in there where like every time they give us a referral, every time they share one of our posts, every time they, I forgot what is even on the point system. Every time they buy with us, sell with us, rent with us, whatever, they get points. So they're racked up at the end of every month. And then at the end of the year, whoever has the most amount of points, we give them like a luxury gift. Like we'll mail them like an Hermes blanket or a Tom Ford coffee table book or a cruise for 3 days or whatever it is. Like we'll spend like $1,000 or whatever, $2,000 on something like that for them, but it keeps them so involved. It keeps them wanting to promote your brands and stay loyal to you, and it builds your name and brand recognition, and like the scoreboard goes up at every month. So it's something that doesn't cost you money along the way. It makes you money because you're getting so many more referrals because people are now excited to give it to you, and they want pop-by gifts. Like we'll do like maybe 1 pop-by a year and then the big gift at the end of the year for whoever wins. But something like this is just a really great way to keep your past clients involved and in the loop and up to date. And I have my VA that does the point system every month, so it really like doesn't take time from my business. Something that I mentioned earlier is like know and collect your stats, right? So 90% of our listings sold in 5 days, 71% sold for over asking price, and this is now like 50 times the amount of exposure as a traditional agent on our listings. But if you don't know these stats, it's hard to go into listing appointments and show your value, right? Because anybody could say, oh, I have reels that go viral, or oh, I have sold in this area before. What are the actual numbers? A lot of people are very logistic. They're very like the cookie cutter, by the book. They want the numbers, they want the facts, especially a lot of men are more analytical, right? So if you're not going in with those actual numbers, they're not going to really believe you or trust you as much. So back up what you're saying, go in with testimonials, go in with like, no, okay, 90% of my listings sold in 5 days. That's fucking incredible, but it's not incredible if nobody knows about it. Like, what's the point of doing a great job if you're not going to promote it and like yell it from the rooftops, especially on things like a listing appointment? So I'm going to show you one more quick example of knowing your stats and how it was helpful. So I partnered up with this New York agent, gave me a referral for down here. So in this community, houses sell in 142 days. We sold it in 17. I looked for those numbers because I knew that it went quicker than other houses in that community, and I wanted to promote that. So I looked up the stats, and MLS like does these stats for you. It's super easy to get. And then I went into detail on, it was on the market with another agent for literally a year. It was like 10 or 11 months. Then when they hired us, within 17 days, we secured a buyer. This buyer actually fell through after a day, and we had another full price offer back up the next day, which honestly to me is even more impressive because we got 2 full price offers in 17 days and the other agent had it up for 11 months. We didn't even reduce the price. Like we kept the price the same. So before you assume we just got lucky, times are right, are underpriced for a quick sale. We're in a heavy buyer's market. There are 140 competing units for sale. Average days on the market is 142, and we didn't underprice it. We actually listed in the top 22% of all of the other 1-bedrooms, which is nearly double the lowest asking price in this community. So results come from strategy, marketing, and experience. So when you know the stats and you promote the stats like that, it shows like you need comparables. Like that's like running comps, right? That's going to get you more business, because when somebody's condo is sitting on the market, I actually got a listing from this. They called me and they were like, hey, my agent, I don't think he's going to do a good job. He signed a listing agreement, but never put it on the market, stopped answering him because he was like, I just don't feel like he's aggressive enough. I don't feel like he's going to stand out or get the job done or be creative with marketing. So after seeing that post, he literally dropped that agent and canceled it and called me to list it. So That's something that's really going to set you apart. Just know your facts and your numbers. That's going to help you so much, like I said, in your listing appointments. Even with your buyers, I have in my buyer presentation how much money on average I save each buyer in terms of like seller's concessions or commissions or whatever. And I'm like, on average, I save my buyers $15,000 at the closing table. So they want to work with me because they're like, okay, she knows what she's doing. She can not only get my offer accepted, but she's also going to save me money on it. Like that's a win-win. That's what every buyer is looking for. So just know what the buyer's goal is and what they're looking for, seller as well, and speak directly to that pain point for you to really like, I feel like I'm never even doing listing or buyer presentations anymore. People just reach out to me from Instagram from posts like this. This is where your conversion happens. And they're like, hey, list my home. Because they already know I can do it. Because that right there was like my listing presentation, that one post. You know, so when you're posting stuff like that, it's really going to push you over the edge and kind of eliminate the other agents that aren't yelling as loud about the wins that they have for their clients.
I mean, that's like super detailed. It's not just like, I sold this house in 17 days. It's like, you're in depth, which I think would be a great thing to like mail out afterwards too, of like, you know, hey, look what I did.
Yeah, I don't want listings in there because but if I did, I would definitely do that. It was like $100,000. I just did it because it was like another agent that gave it to me and he was like, I need help with this. I'm like, all right, fine. But like, yes, if it was $1 million one and I wanted to really like hone in on that, it would have been a great mailer. And also to boost that and run ads on that. Like I don't boost my normal posts, but something like this where it's targeting a specific zip code and persona of somebody, like that's something that I would boost and throw like $10 a day on it for a week or something like that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was so good, Grace. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Cool. We're towards the end, but I want to give it some time if anyone has any questions about anything. Carrie, I know you had a couple questions in the chat. Is there anything that anybody wants to say or questions for Grace before we wrap up? Oh, Grace, somebody else said that they want your template.
Yeah, which one? The buyer lead magnet that I had?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll email it to you right after this and you can send it out if that works.
Is there a
'Cause I'll be
recording
sending
of
out
this
the
going
recording.
out?
Yeah, so we'll put this on YouTube. So once we have, somehow it's screwed up on the recording. So we're gonna have to edit the videos together and then we'll, like this, right, Dan? Like this. We'll put the videos together and then we'll put it up on YouTube.
Don't you love technology and when that
I
happens?
think somehow it was recording to my computer and not the cloud. So it said I didn't have enough disk space. So I don't know what that means. So Dave, help me. Dave's my
Yep,
tech guy.
sounds like you need another hard drive.
If
Ugh.
you want, I can actually show you really quickly because I know this. I was just looking at the questions in the chat of what the back end of Stan Store looks like. So this is where my lead magnets go. So here you can see my page. So this is like what I had showed you. So you can like remove things, add them. If anybody wants a link to Stan Store, I have a referral link for 50% off of the year. It's like $100 a month, but I mean, to me, this is totally worth it. I use this instead of a website. Your auto DM is here. So 10K, I don't even remember. I think this was for a social media course that I was promoting. So there were 19 that were sent out, 15 people clicked on it. So when you click on this, you can see like this is the lead magnet itself. So when they DM the word 10K, they're going to get this DM right here with this link to sign up for my course. So you can go in and see all the 19 people. Cribs, this was for that listing one that I showed you. Snowbirds, this was for a relocation post. This was for a relocation post. This was for buyers. This was like 50 people that did that one. So there's just a lot in here.
Here's one question about the stand thing. Is that specifically for lead magnets within Instagram, or how do you know?
So you can do a lot with this. You can put landing pages. So I use this for like at my relocation guide, coaching that I have, like different things like that. So if you're selling digital products or courses, it's great for that. If you're using it just for landing pages, Linktree does a lot of the same stuff on the basic end of things, and Linktree has a free version. So if you're not really monetizing it, Linktree might be a better option. I still use that one as well on my mailers for like more of the client end. This is more for like agent focused. but you could do like book a call with me in here, courses, closing gift ideas. So I have like an Amazon storefront with like suggestions for closing gifts. What's my home worth? This is like a comp value thing, which nobody really uses on here. I just kind of have that to show that it's like also for clients.
Oh wait, so is Stan basically kind of like a link tree, but it
It's like
has
a
all
link
of
tree.
these in built into it?
Yeah. So for
I
me,
see.
it made more sense for like the digital product courses site. And like I have coaching students that pay me through Stand Store. It just organizes it in a way that made more sense for me. So when I started like actually selling things on here, I switched to Stand Store. But before that, I was using Linktree. So you could definitely still use that. The only thing I'm not sure if Linktree has is the auto DM feature that I had showed you guys. So that's the one thing I would look into. But before this, I was using ManyChat. So ManyChat is auto DM as well. The thing is, I was paying StanStore $100 a month and ManyChat like $100 a month. So I was like, once StanStore added auto DM, I was like, okay, I'm just going to use this instead. So I'm not paying for two at the same time because it kind of did the same thing. So with Linktree, that's free, but you may have to pay for like $100 for ManyChat every month. So just look into that and see what the best option would be. Stand Store, again, it sounds like a little bit of money, but it kind of killed like three birds with one stone. Like I was able to eliminate two other platforms and merge into this one.
Well, and Dave, it's her, she built this out. It's not like templates in there for all of
Yeah,
it.
no, I get that. What I'm trying to figure out is if my CRM will actually do all of this as well.
So I'll show you too, your customers are going to go here. So what's cool about this is like these were lead magnets. That's why it says $0. Like this was coaching. So there's just money in there. This was like a payment plan for something. So what you could do is you can organize. So you can see I have 340 customers that are in here that either downloaded a lead magnet or did coaching or whatever. And you can search by product. So if I want to see how many people downloaded my 12-month home buying blueprint, which was my buyer's lead magnet, you can see here there were 68 in total that downloaded this with all of their email addresses. So now if I want to send an email specifically to only the people that have downloaded this lead magnet, and I do have like a Flowdesk email customer journey for all of these people, I upload that separately to my CRM, which is my Flowdesk. And then those 68 customers are on a customer journey. They're getting an email once a week for like 6 or 7 weeks.
Okay.
So it, again, that's why it takes up a whole nother meeting to get into details of that with you. I could talk about it.
Sure, no, but I mean that's good to know. I'm just trying to figure out if I can, because I'm just trying to consolidate rather than have different things, but sometimes those things like Stan looks like it might perform or provide things that my CRM might not. So I got to figure that out first.
What are you using right now?
I use Lofty.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people at Real are using Lofty as well. I haven't really even taken a look at that, so I don't
I'm
know.
just going to ask AI if you compare the softwares, what the differences are.
Yeah, I don't
Grace,
know.
will you quickly, really fast before you get out of it, can you share your link for Stan in the chat?
I sure can. So this is gonna give you, I think it is it 50%, I don't know. There's I'm going to show you both. So Flowdesk, I know I didn't get into. Flowdesk is the best platform for emails. This one is my Stand Store link. You save money on that there. I don't know if it's for 1 month or if it's 50% off the first year, or it might be Flowdesk that's 50% off for 1 year, but I'll give you the Flowdesk one as well. Flowdesk, again, like you could just categorize emails. It's so easy. It's so aesthetic. Like it looks so nice. I'll show you this super fast because I actually have my team meeting starting now. Like these are my Flowdesk emails. So just to show you one quick example, this is my referral fee that I
Hold on, Grace,
sent out.
it's a black screen.
Why?
I don't know. You
Hold
might have to
on.
reshare and then choose the
Why?
screen.
Do you see this now?
No, it's black.
Is it working now?
No.
Well, all right. Well, I guess my time's up. I guess that's my cue to go. But Flowdesk makes really, really aesthetic emails. So Nicole, even if I take your email addresses, I'll send one after this so you could get an idea of what it looks like. But Flowdesk has amazing emails, 50% off for the year as well. And it integrates with everybody from Stand Store or Linktree. So it's just really great, that everything is like just it disintegrates, which is, I'm like not a complicated girl, you know? So there's the link for Stan and for Flowdesk, but I'm glad you guys found this helpful. At first I was like scatterbrained this morning. So I think we got our thoughts out.
Very good
Well,
stuff.
yeah, I appreciate you coming on. This was really good. I guess you're going to come on again.
Mhm.
So we'll chat
I
about
do.
that. Thank you so much. And you guys, if you are not following Grace, follow her on Instagram now. And then you can always
what's up?
DM her to ask, you know, if you need that link again or anything like that, feel free to just reach out to Grace directly. But this will be posted on YouTube. So if you want to rewatch it, you have the chance to.
Yay. I'm gonna
right.
put the my Instagram link. I just put it in the chat there. All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes,
Thank
thanks for being on.
you.
We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
Guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.